The Megastructures expansion for Galactic Civilisations 4 brings with it a host of new technological advances, a unique quest chain, and of course, the titular Megastructures. We've got Dyson Spheres, Ringworlds, and much more, so let's take a look at everything new in the latest expansion. Also, thanks to Stardock for sponsoring this video. The Megastructures expansion is out now, so if you like what you see, be sure to pick it up and give it a go yourself. If you want to pick up Galactic Civilisations for yourself, it's currently part of the Steam Winter Sale, so grab it while you can to get it cheap. This expansion offers a massive amount of new technology with a strong focus on expanding the late game. Not only will you be building the megastructures themselves, you'll also be harvesting the resources of dead planets, finding new and more powerful upgrades for your ships, and enhancing your planets to new heights with a host of new orbitals and improvements. To access basically all of the new content in this expansion, you'll first need to complete some pretty advanced research projects. Heading over to the Tech Navigator menu, you'll notice a new branch in the engineering tree full of new technology projects related to megastructures. You may also notice their gargantuan research costs compared to everything else, so if you want to make full use of all the new stuff, maybe consider using a civ that's extremely good at science. Without dragging this video to a halt to explain each tech, you're essentially unlocking the ability to find a new resource, then harvest it, and use it to build increasingly more powerful megastructures. If you want to rush these technologies and gain access to the new content early, then by all means rush them whenever you want, but my advice for a normal game would be to progress through the tree as normal, upgrading all of the areas of your civ at once, and pick up these projects when you can complete them faster and are ready for each tier of unlocks. There's no use being able to build a ring world if you can't even support your regular planets or build anything to power it. Once you hit turn 2, the new quest chain will start, beginning with a distant signal. Not only will this questline take you through various story events to give the expansion its own lore, they'll also help you to explore all the new content in the expansion and will supply you with your first few bits of Gigamass. Speaking of which, Gigamass is the first of a couple of new resources added with the expansion. It's found on all kinds of dead worlds with the exception of gas giants and can be harvested by harvester ships once the Gigamass harvesting technology has been completed. In general, you only get a small amount of Gigamass per planet harvested, so if you're looking to build a lot of megastructures quickly, you want to build a few harvesters and get them all working. Once built, they can be set to automatically seek out dead planets to harvest, so they're fairly low maintenance as long as they don't get attacked, for which they have zero defenses. The other resource is energy, and this works a little bit differently. Instead of being something you earn and spend, it's instead a capacity, and this can be increased by building Dyson Spheres and solar farm improvements. Energy is then consumed by various megastructures, and whilst you can technically overspend, avoid doing so as much as possible to avoid a number of crisis events that you could really live without. And of course, the main meat of this expansion is the new megastructures and other buildables you can make use of in-game. First up, we have a number of new orbitals that can be built around your planets for extremely powerful effects at the cost of that Gigamass. Of course, the best one to build entirely depends on the planet they're built around, so use your own discretion when making a decision. The habitat ring increases the planet's population cap, the artificial moon increases the planet's buildable tiles, the trade port increases the value of the planet's trade routes, the orbital embassy improves the diplomacy of the planet, the mining hub increases the baseline minerals of the planet at the cost of increased maintenance, the commercial starliner improves the approval of the planet, and the orbital museum increases the amount of culture points gained by the planet per month. There's also 18 existing orbitals which see some upgrades when playing with the DLC. They may not be quite as powerful as the new options, but they're still plenty strong and don't cost any Gigamass, so are a great option if you're saving up for a bigger project later on. The Obelisk is a unique research improvement that can only be built on a volcano tile. It gives huge bonuses to research alongside massive manufacturing adjacency bonuses at the cost of a fairly large amount of pollution. Not only is this a great addition on any planet you can build it on due to the huge manufacturing bonuses, it'll also help with the massive amount of research needed to access everything in this expansion. At the cost of only 1 Gigamass, it's well worth building on any planet you can as long as you can handle the pollution. Then surround it with as much science on manufacturing as you can manage to maximize the value. Everything from here onwards must be built by Stellar Architect ships, which work similarly to regular constructors in the sense that they are one use only, so choose your projects carefully to make the most of them. These structures can also take multiple turns to be completed, so if you're building in a risky location, keep an escort nearby to keep them safe whilst they build. These ships have a moderate amount of health but no way to defend themselves, so I'd absolutely recommend giving them some sort of protection if they're going anywhere they might run into enemies. They also have the option to automatically seek out megastructure sites like stars and black holes, but I'd only use this in the endgame when you're really just flexing your wealth. These structures are expensive, time-consuming, and extremely valuable if placed correctly, so you want to use them in the best locations for you first, rather than just spamming them everywhere you can. The Dyson Spheres are the first megastructure to be unlocked and are the best way to generate massive amounts of energy. They can only be built around stars, and the colour of the star will tell you roughly how much energy they'll produce, with white making the most, red, blue and purple being somewhere in the middle, and yellow being the least. It'll be a good idea to build at least one, if not more of these as soon as you can, to start increasing your energy capacity for later structures as soon as possible. They're relatively expensive to build, but are still the cheapest of these star-based structures. I'd prioritize the highest output stars that you can to maximize the return on investment and energy capacity for future structures. Lesser stars will very likely benefit more from other structures, so don't waste time and space on something with a small output. Next we have the stellar Nexus. These are also built around suns, but instead of providing many effects immediately, are more of a base to build on with powerful augments. Just like Dyson Spheres, the potential outputs of this Nexus does vary depending on the colour of star they're built around. Yellow focuses on food, growth and population, red focuses on military, blue focuses on manufacturing and research, and purple focuses on economy, influence and tourism. Each of these has 4 choices of augments, and each augment has 3 tiers. With each tier the bonuses become more powerful, starting strong and ending outright broken, but so too increases the cost to build them, with the maximum tiers requiring a huge amount of gigamass and energy. These are supposed to be structures you work on well into the late game, so the rewards being broken is balanced around you being in the end game and earning a huge reward for a long campaign's worth of work. Just make sure you find a star to build on that aligns with the focus of your civ. There's no use building around a red star if you're playing a pacifist, so make a note of their specializations and choose carefully. These are all very expensive to build and even more expensive to fully upgrade, so the last thing you want is all those resources going down the drain because you chose the wrong colour. The stellar gateways can only be built around black holes, and once 2 are constructed, your fleets are able to instantly travel through them regardless of distance on the map. They must be built in pairs, and if you have more than 2, you can choose which ones are linked from the automation screen. As well as this, you have the option to direct fleets to defend the gateways, to protect them from hostiles, and even use an open gateways treaty with other civs to use each other's gateways freely. They're a fairly simple but no less powerful megastructure that makes managing a massive civilization much easier with faster travel across the map. They are expensive and time consuming to build, so it's not like you can easily place one of these in enemy territory for a quick route into the front lines. I'd instead focus on building them within your own borders and use them for quickly moving around your fleets or trade vessels. Once you're able to use those of your allies, getting around will be a massive amount quicker and easier. And lastly, we have Ringworlds. These are a new way to essentially build new planets. They must be built around stars and consume a massive amount of both gigamass and time to be constructed. Just like the Nexus and Sphere, they gain different tile bonuses depending on the star, but no matter what, you get a simply laid out buildable surface every single time. White stars gain more influence tiles, blue stars gain more research, purple stars gain more wealth, yellow stars gain more food, and red stars gain more military. All Ringworlds are class 39 planets and offer extremely powerful output, so are well worth the investment, especially if you're struggling to find any more high class planets. They are able to do anything a normal planet can, like build their own shipyard and all the usual improvements. The only downside is no unique tiles like you can find on planets, but the output is so good anyway, I don't think you'll miss it too badly. If you follow the expansion's questline, you'll come across a ruined Ringworld very early in the game and even be able to colonize it. This is nowhere near as powerful as the endgame constructions, but it does give you a taste of what they're capable of. If you are planning on building a Ringworld, make sure you have someone to govern it as soon as it's finished, so you can get to work building it up and making use of all those bonuses. Just like the Stellar Nexus, try to build around a star that offers the most useful bonuses to your civ. It's a lot less important here as these specific bonuses are limited to a small area of space, but still, you want to get the most out of these very expensive projects, so make a note of what each star offers and choose accordingly. Now, of course, it would be far too easy if all of these structures were immune to all damage and invasion. Just like any planet, megastructures can be invaded and captured by other civilizations. They're besieged just like a planet and can be defended by allied ships to give them some extra defense. All this is to say, if you're at war, keep these things safe, as the last thing you want is your opponent swiping one of these from under your nose after you put in all that work to get it. And equally, if you spot an opponent's megastructure that isn't very well defended, take it straight from them to immediately put it to use for yourself. And that's everything new in the Megastructures expansion for Galactic Civilisations 4. Let me know your thoughts on the expansion in the comments below. A huge thank you once again to Stardock for sponsoring the video. Be sure to check out Galactic Civilisations 4 and the Megastructures expansion out on Steam if any of this looks like fun to you. Like, subscribe, and if you want more Galactic Civilisations content, then check out this video for a complete beginner's guide.